Hey folks, Eddie from Brain Pulp TV, and I am back with more Magic Online, only this time, instead of a draft, we are doing the 5-match Sealed League, which just started last week as of this recording. If you're not familiar with the Sealed League, you get 4 packs of Oath of the Gatewatch, 2 packs of Battle for Zendikar, you create a deck with it, and yeah, you play 5 matches in total. You play it in your own time, so you have several weeks to complete the 5 matches. So unlike a draft where you have to make sure that you have a set amount of time to play the entire draft, sometimes several hours set aside to play an entire draft, in this one, you can play a match, and if you don't have time, you don't have to play another one for several days later if you don't want to. Another thing about this, you have 5 matches that you're going to be playing, and if you win 3 or more, you win prizes. So that's sort of the goal for me anyways. I want to get at least 3 wins under my belt in these 5 matches, and yeah, we'll see if I can manage that. Now, one of the downsides of Sealed versus Draft is you're not picking your cards. Now, for me, I don't make the best picks in Draft anyways, so sometimes I kind of like Sealed because it's sort of like, make do with what you have. And that is really going to be the theme of the deck that I created. I actually created 2 decks. I created it before recording this video so I can quickly go over the cards and tell you why I'm going to go with the colors I'm going to go with. If I were drafting, I wouldn't have picked a lot of the cards that are in my sealed pool, especially the rares, which actually, you know what? I'll go over those right now with you. Okay, so here are the rares. Smothering Abomination. I would never conceive of a time where I would think this would be a good card to pick in draft. I mean, if you have something that creates a lot of tokens or several things that create a lot of tokens where you keep feeding this thing, maybe. But for the most part, I really don't consider this a very good card in draft. I'm not an expert, but still, I don't think it's a very good card. Now, Ruins of Oran Reef. This is one of the rares where I would pick if I knew I was going for a colorless creature deck. Because it showed up in my sealed, I was sort of pushed into looking towards colorless creatures to go along with this one because I didn't have a whole lot of what I consider to be really strong cards. So this is a card that's going to be in both of the decks that I create because I'm creating decks that have a colorless creature theme. Oath of Chandra. It's basically removal unless you have a Planeswalker, and I don't have a Planeswalker, so this would just be red removal, which, you know, it is what it is. It's not bad. I wouldn't pick it highly anyways. Now, Munda Ambush Leader is not horrible. He's not super great. He is especially great if you're playing red-white and you have a ton of allies. That would make it really useful. Unfortunately, while I do have some very good red cards and I do have some very good white cards, I don't have enough combined to warrant running this guy. So I will not be playing red-white and I will not be running this guy. Hissing Quagmire, another one where if you're playing black and green, it's a good card. It's not huge, but it's a decent card to have in your deck. Unfortunately, I'm not running black and green, so once again, it's not going to be useful to me. Captain's Claws, I am running this. Now, I wouldn't pick this highly in a draft, but it does have its uses for sure. So it's a cheap equipment with a cheap equip cost, and it has a nice little upside. And really, given the rest of my pool, this was actually a card where I feel it's useful for me to play. Now, we'll quickly go over what's in the various colors I have. So we'll start with white. I have Searing Light, which is okay removal, especially early in the game. Stoneforge Acolyte, maybe if you have a lot of equipment, and I just have, other than the Captain's Claws, I have a Bone Saw, so I don't really think this is great. I wouldn't pick it. I certainly wouldn't pick it in a draft unless for whatever reason I had a ton of equipment. Angelic Gift, no, not super great. Dazzling Reflection, I'm not crazy about. The Scythe Master, I do quite like. I think it's a very good, not a very good card, but I think it's a good card. Same thing with Course Climber, nice solid card, nothing crazy, but it's solid. Shoulder to Shoulder, I probably like more than most people, but still, it's not that great of a card. Inspired Charge can be very good. It can be very, very good. Isolation Zone is very good, in my opinion. Great removal. Relief Captain is really good in white. And then there's 2 Expedition Raptors. Now, as you can see, there's some interesting things that I could possibly do with maybe white allies. Unfortunately, I don't really have much to go with that. Now, the closest I would be able to come mainly because of Mundai Ambush Leader, would be possibly white-red. So let's go over the red, and we'll see why I'm not playing white-red. So we have the Stonewaker, which is not an ally, but it's an okay card with a nice bit of landfall. Immobilizer, Eldrazi. Now, this is a good card in my opinion because it can shut down a lot of decks just based on the fact that each creature with toughness greater than its power can't block this turn is one of its abilities. Now, you need colorless to use it, but still, it's a very decent ability, and it made me create one of the 2 decks that I have and include it. But anyways, let's skip that for now. Oath of Chandra we went over before, so we're not going to go over again. Spark Mage's Gambit, I think is very good. I got 2 copies of it. Probably wouldn't necessarily want 2 copies of it, but still, it's a decent red card. Zadda's Commando, it is a nice ally, especially with the ability to do 1 damage to target opponent, and the fact that it's a 2-drop first striker. It's 2/1, so that's really good as well too. The Flame Seeker with Rummage is not bad. It's not super great in my opinion. The Eldrazi Aggressor, it's okay. Nettle Drone is very, very good if you have enough colorless to keep it flipping back up. Retreat to Valakut, not super excited about that. Chasm Guide, it is an ally. Its rally ability, not overly exciting. Volcanic Upheaval, no. Boulder Salvo is good, especially if you can get it out there for a surge cost. Cinder Hellion is okay. And Press into Service is a card that I probably like more than a lot of people. I think this card is really good. Not enough to make me specifically choose red, but if like I was going to play a red deck and I had this, I would definitely run it. I like it that much. Now that you've seen the white and the red cards, I'm going to show you the green ones because the green is the last color I'm not playing. I do have a deck. I'll show you the decks after this, but I do have a deck that's going to be playing red. But my main deck is going to be blue-black. So right now I'm just going to show you the green, okay? Here we go. Natural State. No. Earthen Arms. No, not really. Lead by Example. It's okay. Support 2 at instant speed. That's kind of nice. Loam Larva is... I don't think it's good. I really don't think it's good. Maybe if you were super desperate for some mana fixing, you were playing more than 2 colorless, more than 2 colors. But for the most part, and I get 2 of them. I have 2 of them in my sealed pool, which makes me super, super happy. Oran Reef Invoker, I'm not crazy about. It's a bear with an upside much, much later on. Ruin in Their Wake, I don't have any wastes, so I'm not crazy about this. Netcaster Spider is good in my opinion. It's quite good in my opinion. Pulse of Marasa, it's okay. And Eyeless Watcher, I think, is quite good. Infuse with the Elements, if I was playing 3 or more colors, yes. And a chance of me playing 3 or more colors, or more than 3 colors anyways, is next to nil. But even with 3 colors, I'm still not crazy about it. The Path Warden is a very good card in my opinion, especially because it's an ally, so it can set off a few things if you have a lot of other ally sort of synergy in your deck. And the Beastmaster, which is also an ally, and I think is also very, very good. But because of how weak my early green is, even though I find these 2 cards, and even the Eyeless Watcher to be all, and the Netcaster Spider to be all really good, I'm not crazy about running green. So now we're going to get into the colors that I am playing, which is blue and black. And then after that, I will show you the deck that I built. Okay, so first we have, in blue, we have Dispel, which will definitely be something I would bring in depending on who I'm playing against. Prophet of Distortion. Really, really like this card. It's a 1/2 for 1. It has Devoid, and for 3 and a colorless, you can draw a card. Not a tap ability, you can just straight out draw a card, which means you can draw multiple cards later on in the game if this sucker's out there. So I really, really like this card. Rush of Ice isn't bad. If I was desperate need of a creature, I would probably run it as a 5-drop with a bit of an upside. Slip Through Space, I used to think it seemed really good on paper, in my opinion. And then I would put it in decks, and it would end up being pay 1 blue, draw a card. That's all I would get from it. So I'm not super crazy about Slip Through Space. 2 negates. Okay. It negates negate. It's useful in certain situations. I'm not running it. Containment Membrane, I do like, especially for its surge cost. We have Void Shatter, another card that I will be running, which I quite like. Coastal Discovery. Now, This is a card that I will be running, and I'm not sure if I should. Actually, I might have cut it from my deck since this recording. I'm not 100% sure. Comparative analysis, I'm not crazy about, even with its surge cost. Drawing cards is always great. I would probably go with Coastal Discovery if I needed some card draw, in my opinion, between the two. But that's just me. I could be wrong because I am not an expert in sealed. I'm not an expert in draft. I'm not even an expert in Magic in general. So Gravity Indicator, very, very good in my opinion. Thought Harvester, I also like Thought Harvester. Cyclone Sire, the Isle Avenger, and Wavewing Elemental, all nice flyers for a bit of a cost, but with the Avenger, it's really nice if you can get out there for its surge cost. So moving on into black, we have Unnatural Endurance, which is a nice little trick to have in there because it catches me a lot of the time. So I'm hoping it's going to catch my opponents because I am running one. I have 2 Slaughter Drones. Now I have a decent amount of colorless that I can sort of run in my deck if I need to, which I will be. Let's see. We've got Crumbling Vistage, Holdout Settlement, Ruins of Oran Reef, and I think, and a Hedron Crawler. So I am going to be running Slaughter Drone to both of them. I believe I'm running both of them. That might have changed as well too. Let's check in a second. Complete Disregard. I was so excited at first because I mistook this for Oblivion Strike, I believe, which is 1 black and 3 of anything else and just straight up kill a creature. Not quite as useful as that. But still, I am going to be running one. Hagra Sharpshooter, I don't know how to value this card. I don't think it's super great. If I was running more allies, I probably would, but I'm going for more of a colorless theme, so I'm not running the Sharpshooter in my main deck. Kozilek Shrieker, I am running in my main deck because I quite like it. The Assassin, I'm not super crazy about. Tar Snare, I'm running at least one. Vampire Envoy, even though I'm going for a colorless theme, I'm including this card because I think it's quite good. Same thing with Null Caller, I think it's quite good. Silent Skimmer, I'm running it because colorless. We talked about Smothering Abomination before, not running it. And the Night Watch, I can't remember if I included this in my deck or not, but we will find out in a second. We also have Mind Melter. Now, Mind Melter was sort of the reason why, what pushed me over the edge to go black blue, not because it's like so insanely good that you have to run it if you're like, you know, if you have it, oh my god, we have to run black blue in my opinion. But given everything else I had, it pushed me into black blue because at least it's a creature that has synergy with 2 of my colors. So, you know, I'm running that one. Rune Processor, I'm running this, and Hedron Crawler, Captain's Claws, I'm not running the Bone Saw. So now let's take a closer look at the actual deck that I built. I built a black-blue deck, which is this one here, and it's Prophet of Distortion, Unnatural Endurance, both Slaughter Drones, Captain's Claws, Hedron Crawler, Mind Melter, Vampire Envoy, Tar Snare, the Shrieker, Complete Disregard, Void Shatter, Containment Membrane, Coastal Discovery, so I did keep that in there, Gravity Indicator, Thought Harvester, Null Caller, Silent Skimmer, and the Night Watch, as well as the Avenger and the Cyclone Sire. I am not running, where is he? Oh no, I am running the Wavewing Elemental. So, and the Rune Processor. So a lot of colorless, but not straight up only colorless, because I didn't think there was enough in black and blue. And I wanted some flyers. I wanted some flyers on the higher end. Not that these are huge creatures, but they're flying at a time where flying will be very, very important. So that's the black blue deck, and the lands that I'm running as well too. Crumbling Vistage and Holdout Settlement, along with the Ruins of Oran Reef for my colorless. Now I've also created, I'm having a hard time saying colorless. I don't know why, my tongue is just not functioning properly. I also created a black, blue, red deck. I'm going to prefer to probably play the black, blue because I don't like having to search for a third color. It just, I tend to get screwed over more by playing 3 colors than not, especially in Oath and Zendikar. Still, I thought this deck was something to try, and it's way more straight up colorless than the other ones, in my opinion. So I think this might be good. I will probably try both throughout the 5, unless one of them, unless the first one I try is just like blowing through the opponents, I will probably try both at some point. One of the reasons why I was hoping to include some red is I do have Cinder Barons, which is nice. I also have an Evolving Wilds, which makes me feel a little bit more comfortable with playing 3 colors. Basically, a lot of this is the same. The red cards that I've included are Spark Mage's Gambit, which I think is good. Immobilizer Eldrazi, which I mentioned before, and I think it's very, very good. Eldrazi Aggressor is not super great, but it's colorless and it's red. Nettle Drone with all this colorless, oh my goodness, with all this colorless is really, really good, in my opinion. And I'm hoping to be able to untap it a few times on my own turn and not have to wait to his turn. Press into Service, I mentioned before, I really, really like. Boulder Salvo, which is really, really great removal. And then the rest are a lot of the sort of the holdovers from the black-blue deck. So this is the other one I'm going to be trying. I'm probably going to start off with the black-blue deck. Oh, and before I hit play, one, that was way more talking than I'm used to. My voice is not the greatest to begin with. So the end there, I was having trouble saying, actually all throughout, I was having trouble saying colorless. So I apologize for that. And also, if you see any improvements that could be made to the deck, if you see a deck that I could have built that I didn't build, which would be much stronger, please leave that in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. Anything you guys can tell me would make me stronger as a player. And the only downside is, depending on how many of these games I record back to back to back, I may not be able to implement what you say during this league, but I will definitely take in consideration the next time I have to build a sealed deck. So there you go. Anyways, on with the games. Okay, now, do we want to mulligan down to 6 cards? I haven't even looked at my hand yet. I think... I mean, we don't have anything to start off right away, but we do have Vampire Envoy in 3. I'm going to keep this. It's not the quickest start, but I think I'm going to keep this, especially considering our opponent had to mulligan down to 6. So, plus we're on the draw. We have the Negator. Fortunately, we don't have anything for turn 1 and turn 2. Maybe we'll pick something up on our next draw. Oh, for a second I thought our opponent was stuck on 1 land. Oh, the pup. The pup is pretty nice. Yeah, still nothing, so it looks like our first play is going to be the Vampire Envoy, which can actually block the pup, which is nice. Providing he's not able to put a counter on it. Oh, really? Nothing to follow that up with. Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So hopefully he can't buff the pup, and this will stop him from attacking. Excellent. Now, I have to decide what I want to do next. I think I'll do Gravity Negator, but first I'm going to swing in for an attack. Oh no, you know what? I'm going to do Null Caller, because then at least I can still block the pup. There we go. Now, he wasn't able to play anything last turn, so unless he grabbed something off the top of his deck... Wow, that was... I can see feeling like you're out of sorts, but that was a fairly quick concede. I'm kind of surprised about that, actually. I mean, I'll take it, obviously, which is nice. We didn't really get to see much of his deck, so I don't know if what we're doing is correct, but I guess we'll just stick with what we had here before, so... It's all black, which is not great, but considering what we have to play, I think I'm going to keep this. Yeah, I will definitely keep this. Okay, luckily we're still drawing more black cards, so not having an island yet is not going to bother us. And we'll bring out the drone. We have Captain's Claws, which could be useful for us. I'm okay with this. I mean, he can double block the drone, which I'm not overly concerned about. So yeah, I'm going to swing in for the attack. And if he double blocks, he double blocks. Okay, good. So now we get to put more butts in the seats. And I will probably be putting Captain's Claws on the Envoy. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I didn't think he'd swing in. So we'll bring out the claws. And I'm still going to swing in with everything. And still no blockers. Okay. That's good for us. Now he's got plenty of cards in hand. He's got mana. And he's got more now, so... Lagak. Now I know why he didn't block. I still think we're okay. And he's attacking with both. That is really surprising. I guess he wants to race at this point? It seems odd. It just... I mean... Yeah, that seems strange. I will... Okay, let's just attack first. And see if he's going to make the trade with the Lagak as well, too. Yeah, he had to... Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't happen before, but... Now, this is going to seem... This may seem silly, but I think to keep momentum... I'm going to surge down one of his guys. Because I think that puts us in a fairly good position, even if he does cast something here. And I can create zombie tokens, which is great. Yeah, he's bringing up more small stuff, so I'm not overly worried about that. Okay, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's still well off from, not well off, but he's a couple. Oh, he's only one. Oh no, 6. For some reason, I thought that meant it needed 7. Okay, I think I'm just gonna swing in with everything again. Do I swing in with everything, or do I just? Let's see. I guess there's no real point in swinging in with everything. No, he doesn't have any flyers, so I'm just going to swing in. I mean, he could double block him. Yeah, we're just going to attack with the envoy. And I'm okay with that. And I'm going to bring out the Nightwatch. Because every single time the envoy attacks now, he's going to be able to fly. And that should do major damage to him. I'm okay with this. I'm assuming he's trying to figure out how many he can attack with, if any. Because he's tapped out. Well, I mean, he can tap for 1 colorless, but colorless. Why am I having so much trouble saying colorless? And there we go. That was the first game down. We won, which is really, really nice. The deck did better than I thought it would, but I'm still having a hard time gauging whether or not the deck is super, super solid because it wasn't the best display, I guess, against the opponent, especially the first game where he sort of felt like he didn't have much of a chance early on, so he kind of conceded, so I didn't really get to put the deck through its paces. And in the second one, I think he was probably maybe 1 turn off of it being a much, much closer game. So I'm still not sure whether the deck was very, very strong or if our opponent was just having a particularly bad day. So that is the end of the first part of the 5-match league series that I'm going to be doing. In the next one, you'll be seeing games 2 and 3, and hopefully by the end of that, I'll be in the prizes already. And if not, there is going to be the third part, which are games 4 and 5. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, advice, especially advice, please leave that in the comment section below. I'd love to read it. Anything that can make me a better player, I'm all ears for. I may not be able to act on the advice right away because I'll probably be filming a lot of these back to back to back, but in the future, I promise I will take into account what you guys have to say, and I will seriously give consideration to any advice you guys may have. Anyways, take care, everyone. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, and I will see you all very soon.